unbound.org.
Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us. Broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM iHeart Media Studios, worldwide through yorbamedia.com. All right, I'm joined on this segment with Robert Cucin, CEO, BioSculpture Technology. This gentleman is very accomplished. His bio runs from Cornell to Fordham to Columbia. He's got 18 patents, 5 books, 24 articles written about what he does in the industry and what he's an expert in. So, Robert, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, my pleasure for you being here. But aside from that, and I want you to embellish a little bit on what your background is, you have a new invention that helps belly fat.
Sure, I've obviously made my ADD work for me.
Yeah.
But the important thing is that the fat that's inside your stomach, not the fat that you can pinch with your fingers, but what's inside the abdominal cavity is the fat that kills you and shortens your life. And my company, BioSculpture Technology, is developing minimally invasive devices that make it possible to safely and efficiently remove that fat for the very first time.
All right, tell us what it is.
Okay, the fat inside your stomach secretes cellular hormones that cause hypertension, diabetes, gastric, autoimmune diseases, and cancers, and just by its bulk it causes sleep apnea and gastric reflux. So we want to get rid of it. And up until now, there was nothing we could do about it. We would starve it, and that was the typical restrictive or bypass surgeries that we used. Mm-hmm. And those surgeries not only have big risks that accompany the cutting into the bowel or leaving behind a foreign body or rearranging the body's plumbing, but they also have undesirable lifestyle consequences that make the patients not, life compromises are pretty serious. Frequently you can get a digestive cripple who lives in the bathroom. We have to do things better. And so to approach it directly became a passion of mine. We started out as a tissue aspiration platform. I invented both power-assisted and the tube-within-a-tube style, which is somewhat safer, that we brought to liposuction. And then we adapted our technology that it could go into the stomach, into the abdominal cavity laparoscopically, and actually address this most noxious hormone factory. And that's what we're so excited about, that we'll be doing the study so we can bring this to the market and address this huge problem. Obesity costs exceed $2 trillion. 2.1 billion people around the globe are obese. It is a horrendously large and expensive problem. Obesity-related diseases consume 7 out of 10 healthcare dollars. I mean, the numbers are just absolutely staggering. And there's just a huge, enormous unmet need for minimally invasive treatments, which is safer and highly effective, both in developed countries and increasing with every country that absolutely mirrors our pattern of eating and development.
Now, there's 2/3 of the population is overweight, and like you said, 2.1 billion people are obese, but this number is expected to grow.
That number is going to go up to 43% of people who will be obese. 25% of our children are already obese. A black woman born in America today has a 100% chance of being obese. I mean, it is a devastating problem. It's devastating for all of us. It's even more devastating for the minorities.
Now, there's about 1.9 billion spent, actually over that, in surgery expenditures on this issue right now.
Yeah, it's $2 trillion it's actually $2 trillion for obesity diseases, but it is 1.9 million specifically for obesity control, medical devices to control obesity.
So let's drill down into your invention here and where you're going with this, because it seems to me you've got a niche in the marketplace that is just going to explode with what you're bringing to market.
Yeah, I mean, I love the idea of calling it a niche. because when you're talking about 1.9 billion right off the get-go, and the idea of America and all of us is to have surgery that is just less invasive. So if you call minimally invasive a niche in terms of treatments, all told, it's obviously a hugely growing one. I mean, it's forecast to the obesity market is forecast to reach $17 trillion. So I mean, that quota in niche is like the tail that wags the dog.
Right, I agree with that. Now, the reports that come back from the doctors who have used your new tool, if I may be so naive in calling it a tool, but are when can I get my hands on this?
Okay,
and it seems to be really widely receptive.
Well, we have used the tube within a tube technology in liposuction surgery. It never has been used before in human beings as a laparoscopic removal of belly fat. Mm-hmm. It's been tested out in pigs to show that it was feasible. We will have to, do the studies that allow us first to, both the typical combined Part 1 and Part 2 phase studies to show that it's both safe and effective. Considering how many years people have using different kinds of suction devices inside the stomach and how intrinsically safe a tube within a tube concept is, and to explain that briefly, I mean, people have seen, liposuctioning done on TV, and you can't imagine somebody actually taking a tube like that and shoving it back and forth inside your stomach. You'd rupture your spleen or your kidney or your liver. It's just totally inappropriate. But the tube within a tube takes that tube that's actually aspirating the fat globules and puts it inside a sheath of another tube and just aligns the sucking hole with a slot. So every time that tube advances, it doesn't jab into something and do something bad. And you have the spacer, which is that outer sheath, between what's moving back and forth rapidly. So you have the advantage of both being able to mechanize it, that the doctor's not stroking it, and the advantage of the intrinsic safety of having it somewhat removed from where the sucking has actually happened. And if people look at the BioSculpture technology website, they can see it working subcutaneously, and you just see how it just can remove fat without any blood. So it's not very hard for people to imagine how this can work inside the stomach, taking out mesenteric fat in the exact same fashion. Because it basically it doesn't jab against the blood vessels, it doesn't cut against the blood vessels, it just aspirates fat globules.
Now, briefly, we've got about 2 minutes left in the interview, but briefly in this segment of the interview, let's discuss the differences in what the old way, like the lap bands, the old processes versus the new process you're bringing to market.
Good question. The old techniques involved either a bypass in which you made the food go through the gut into the toilet bowl quickly without as many calories being absorbed, or you made it so the patient could not eat as much at that meal, so the stomach just held less food. That's the old way of doing things. Mm-hmm. And invariably, if you do that, you're interfering with somebody's ability to eat a normal meal, belch normally, absorb normally, heal normally, because your liver, your protein factory, basically isn't getting its gas. And you are changing somebody's normal pattern of living, because if food keeps flying through the gut, it means it's going somewhere, and that means you're going to take a trip to the bathroom. And so the net effect is you have a digestive cripple who's not going to have normal energy because he or she is not absorbing calories normally, and somebody is not going to be eliminating normally. They're going to be having fatty diarrhea, an unpleasant subject, but basically means you've got a digestive cripple who's not who doesn't have normal nutritional patterns. So that's what we're doing right now. And it's pretty obvious why we'd like to do things a little bit better. And I haven't even mentioned that everything that we do right now plateaus, which means at some point the patient stops losing weight and starts regaining, because the body is an amazingly adaptive vehicle. For fat basically says, keep me. It's just the way the fat works. It shuts down your metabolic rate. So the obese patient actually gleans more calories out of the blini or the zabaione than the slender person. It's one of life's paradoxes, and it comes from this visceral or belly fat. We're different.
Robert, we need to take a break now, but let's keep this discussion going on the other side of the break.
Sure, it's a good time to do so.
Okay, we'll be right back with Robert Cucin. He is the CEO of BioSculpture Technology. We'll be right back on the other side of this break.
I'm Dr. James, founder of Diamond Physicians, a concierge medicine practice located in Dallas, Texas. Our Diamond 360 Advanced Physical Exam has been created for people like you who live a high-stress, fast-paced life. Every 40 seconds, someone in the U.S. experiences a life-changing heart attack or debilitating stroke. Negative stress tests and normal cholesterol levels do not exclude you. Half of all fatal heart attacks occur without warning. Diamond goes beyond traditional medicine with the Diamond 360 Advanced Physical Exam. Proven to prevent heart attacks, strokes, and diabetes. Contact Diamond now at 214-395-3491. That's 214-395-3491. Or visit our website at diamondphysicians.com to take the Diamond Challenge. If your Diamond 360 reveals perfect health, receive a full refund. Your loved ones will thank you.
NMLS number 99250, 2233 Yale Street, Houston, Texas. Is now the time for you to refinance your house? A lot of people. The refinance market is hot right now. And if you're thinking about it, you don't want to spend a bunch of time if it turns out it's not going to lower your payment or it's going to cost you too much to refinance. It wasn't even worth it. At Texas Lone Star, they'll save you thousands over the life of your loan. If you've been thinking about refinancing, call them. These folks are fantastic. 214-295-8821. 214-295-8821. It's a new year. One of your goals is to get your finances in order. You're clipping coupons. You're looking at different ways to be financially smart. Well, pay less every month for the same house you're living in. Get it refinanced. Texas Lone Star can do it for you, and you will like them. Apply today. Start saving tomorrow. 214-295-8821.
BTJ Consulting was founded specifically to consult with accredited investors on how best to manage their oil and gas investments. The emphasis is not only on direct participation in drilling projects, but includes opportunities in the purchasing of oil rigs, service and equipment companies, real estate and/or the purchase of royalty interest through lease pooling. This strategy further mitigates risk and spreads their clients' investments over the entire sector whenever possible. For more information, call 469-518-5008 or info@btjconsulting.com. 469-518-5008 or info@btjconsulting.com. That's 469-518-5008 or info@btjconsulting.com. And tell them Yorba sent you.
You're smart, right? So when it comes to your electricity bill, you want smart solutions, as in the Smart Rate Plan from Amigo Energy. Sign up for the Smart Rate Plan and get a fixed electricity supply rate. You'll also get a free Smart Stat thermostat that can reduce your energy consumption by 23%. Plus, control your home temperature from anywhere. That's smart, especially once summer arrives. Be smart. Control your energy bill by calling 1-844-GET-AMIGO today and enroll. Certain terms and conditions apply. Visit AmigoEnergy.com for more details.
Hi, folks. Alan Thicke here. If you owe back taxes, the IRS can do some scary things, but there is hope. With a special program called the Fresh Start Initiative, it's one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, even tens of thousands. Nobody knows this program like the experts at Optima Tax Relief. If a fresh start is what you need, Optima is who you want.
Call 800-960-1575. 800-960-1575.
Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host, broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM iHeart Media Studios, worldwide through yorbamedia.com. I'm joined with Robert Cucin. He is the CEO of BioSculpture Technology, and we've got a new way to handle the obesity issue with this new tool he's bringing on that's got a way to keep your lifestyle, but not only keep your lifestyle, reduce the risk of negative events happening through surgical procedures to combat obesity. Right, Robert?
Yeah, that is exactly the goal, and we didn't even address the money issue. Current treatments are kind of expensive. I mean, it's the typical bariatric surgery hospitalization can run $35,000, and even some of the new minimally invasive devices people may have read about that they're doing PMAs in Europe and England on, like things such as a vagal pacemaker to stimulate satiety in the brain. That's a $20,000 device. It is a foreign body with batteries. It gives you TSA problems at the airport, MRI problems when you're being examined. They're not benign things. The nice thing about this, if things work out the way we believe they will, and unless the human being is different from every other mammal in the animal kingdom, it will, is that there are fewer potential risks and there are basically no sequelae to it. There's no cutting into the bowel, no cutting into the stomach. There's leaving behind no foreign body. You're not rearranging the GI tract and alimentary plumbing. And what you expect is that you take out a small amount of fat inside the abdomen, 6 to 8 pounds, and there's an immediate improvement in lowered blood pressure, lowered blood sugar, and increased metabolic rate. That the patient can just be rebooted, as it were, just like turning your computer back on, and have a healthier lifestyle, have more energy to exercise, and then they'll lose a large multiple of body weight for that relatively small amount of weight that you've taken out inside the abdomen.
What do you mean by that, lose a multiple of body weight? I mean, there are some people out there wondering, hey, I weigh 200 pounds more than I want to weigh.
Exactly. Fat is compartmentalized. 10 to 15% of the fat in your body is inside your abdomen. And, that's Dr. Oz will refer to that as visceral or belly fat. What you pinch between your fingers looks bad, but it doesn't kill you. What kills you is the fat that's close to the portal vein, the liver, and the superior mesenteric artery and the pancreas. It's the metabolically active fat that secretes all of these cellular hormones that do horrible things to you. So you take out 6 to 8 pounds of that, and then since the fat is compartmentalized and there's a multiple, you lose a multiple of your body fat because of the metabolic improvement that removing that fat inside your stomach has. In animals, the result is so dramatic. It's P equals 0.01. It's less than 100 chance it would be a false result. In humans, up until now, we can only take out the omentum, that apron of fatty tissue that hangs down from your stomach. It got a better result with lap band. However, taking out omentum is not a totally benign procedure. Here we're taking out mesenteric fat, which is probably even more metabolically active, and you can thin it out in the same way that we can thin out the pannus or the abdominal wall of somebody subcutaneously, because it's just kind of a very restricted, thickened area. There's basically one big blood vessel that goes through it. And there's an arcade of blood vessels that if you just stay away from, you're in relatively safe territory to thin things out, particularly in an obese patient where this becomes a very thickened wad. So the major advantage is that we can attain an immediate improvement, then there's a subsequent weight loss, and we can repeat it until we get an ideal weight, so you never have a weight loss plateau. And meanwhile, you're not having these digestive consequences of making a digestive cripple who lives in the bathroom. The patient can eat normally. The person can belch normally. The patient's not going to have a balloon in their stomach that you worry about them rupturing an esophagus if they should vomit, which are some of the newer temporary weight training aids which are being researched for PMA studies, pre-market approval studies in Europe as we speak.
Now, we started off with the difference on a monetary basis. I mean, I get it about being able to reduce your weight and increase your health at the same time, but you were saying that it's much less expensive.
Yes, it will be, because any of those devices, such as a pacemaker, is a $20,000 device, and those risks, and those which include death, fistulas, leaks, foreign body complications. Each of those are hospitalizations that are expensive. So getting rid of those potential complications in a procedure that will be a relatively short one, not a lengthy one. As a general surgeon, I did bypass operations. They took quite a few hours. They were not quick procedures. This should be a procedure that should be relatively quick, under an hour and a half. That saves operating time. And I would anticipate this being able to be done as an outpatient. So you save your hospitalization costs, you save your anesthesia costs, you save your costs of treating complications, and you avoid repeat. Even the lap band had repeat visits to the doctor to adjust the volume of the balloon around the esophagus. So the number of opportunities for cost savings are very, very significant.
Wow. All right. Now, you were talking about plateauing out with this. Give me a better idea what you mean by that.
Sure. The three procedures that are most popular today are the banding procedures, such as the lap band, the vertical sleeve, where you staple the stomach, restrict the volume of the stomach, or a bypass, where you change the course through the gut and you bypass most of the biliary hormones, so the food enters the toilet undigested in at least some proportion. Those are the three procedures. And each of them, the patient stops losing weight and starts regaining weight at some point in time. The ones they do it the quickest will be the lap band, where they might only lose 60 or 80 pounds. The vertical sleeve is the one that's the most popular because it kind of compromises the best. There you're basically talking about the 125-pound area. The bypass, you're going the plateau may be at 150. But wherever that plateau is, once it is reached, if you have cut out a chunk of bowel, the bowel that's left starts to just absorb things more efficiently, and the patient starts to regain weight again. It happens at a different point for each of those different procedures, and the selection of those procedures today, it basically is in exactly that order. If somebody's very overweight, you go to a bypass. If somebody's overweight but not morbidly obese, you go to the vertical sleeve or the stomach stapling. If somebody's only a little bit overweight, at this point, the lap band is kind of phasing out. It's less popular because it is just so temporary. I would say the vertical sleeve is replacing it, and that's why you may know Allergan actually sold the company. But the advantage of something that will be cheaper, safer, quicker, efficient, and can be repeated will be very significant. I don't want to confuse the listeners. I mean, this is not available to the public yet, but we are hurrying as fast as we can so we can be able to take on the clinical studies that will allow us to get to the point where we can.
Okay, we've got less a minute and a half left in the interview. On the business side, do you have anything for us there?
Sure. I'd love if the listener could check out evl.technology.com, and they can get some more details about the treatment we're talking about and be able to follow our progress. And if any of the listeners are attending Markham's Microcap Conference in New York on May 27th, I'd love if they could join us, and we can talk about it on the business side.
Robert, thanks so much for being on the show. It's been really, expanding my mind about what great things you're doing for humanity with your new tools.
Well, thank you so much for having me on this, because as a doctor, I really hope this will be my legacy. I mean, medicine, plastic surgery has been amazingly good to me. This is my opportunity to give back.
All right. You've done a great job. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Robert Cucin, MD, CEO, BioSculpture Technology. We're going to take a short break now. On the other side, when we come back, Lou Rossi, Chairman, CEO, Station Digital Corporation, new way to listen to music through the digital community.
I must admit, explain.